Hi, I'm Charlene Laney, co-founder of Newmaker Financial and certified financial planner professional. Today is part 2 of a 5-part series called our 5 Key Investing Strategies, all of the strategies we advocate for here at Newmaker Financial. Now, number 2 is having a proper asset allocation. We know that 91.5% of the performance that occurs in your portfolio is determined by the asset allocation, and only 8.5% is determined by everything else, all those other factors. Now, first off, what do I mean by asset allocation? There are different asset classes, the main ones being stocks, bonds, cash, maybe even alternatives in there too. And when we say asset allocation, we're talking about what is the appropriate mix of one to another. It might be 60% in stocks, 35% in bonds, and 5% in cash, as an example, as a hypothetical. That asset allocation is going to be crucial for what your portfolio does over time as you continue to grow it towards retirement. Now let's talk about let's talk about those 3 to 4 main asset classes first. Now, stocks, those are our growth assets. We use them as an inflation hedge. That's part of their functionality. We use them for legacy assets, knowing that this money has a lot of time to grow and it's intended to be there for your children or your heirs or charity or whomever. But it's ultimately oriented towards the long term, meaning that generally, if you need a certain pot of money anytime soon, that is not the pot of money that you would likely want to put into the stock market. Bonds, however, are more of a stability type of asset. We use them for capital preservation because there's, of course, that return of principal at the end of the term when you reach maturity for each bond. And then there's the income component as well, because you're receiving interest income while you are invested in the bond. And then thirdly is cash, which you may not think of as an investment, but it's intended to be an asset that is there for liquidity, that is there for very short-term needs, whether it be short-term spending or investment opportunities. But needless to say, cash does need to be a piece of your asset allocation in some form or fashion for most of us. There are some rare exceptions where not having cash on hand is okay, but you'll want to determine that with a financial advisor, with a certified financial planner, such as myself or my partner here, Josh. Okay, now the last one is alternatives, which I'll touch on here briefly. Sometimes people get really excited about this category because it has a lot of shiny things associated with it. Not intended to be a pun or anything, but it does include things like precious metals. So gold, silver, palladium, a mix of all of them, other commodities, real assets such as diversified real estate, and alternatives can be a good part of the portfolio if it is diversified and balanced out by those other main asset classes. We generally do not recommend investing 100% in any of those things, or 100% into any one thing for that matter. But the diversification piece is really important because the more you have different types of assets in your portfolio, the less likely you are to fall prey to the real estate market crashing and then suddenly your whole portfolio is down, or just the stock market crashing and your whole portfolio is down, or just the stocks in England are crashing and your whole portfolio is down. Whatever the case may be, diversification is super important because we don't want all of your eggs in any single basket when it comes to asset classes. And the asset allocation is super important for that reason. Now, as far as what that mix should be, it should be rooted in a financial plan that you work on with your financial advisor to determine how much you need in each asset class. And unfortunately, it's not as simple as being able to say you are 60 years old, and if you take 60 from the number 100, then you should have 40% in stocks and then 60% in bonds. Unfortunately, it's not quite that simple. It really depends on a lot of other factors like your spending and what your guaranteed income sources are and what the legacy goals are, what your estate plan looks like. And so we'll take a holistic look at all of that when we get together. So let me know what questions you have on this. I hope it was helpful, and we're happy to chat more. Thanks.